Hi, yogis. Hi, friends. Welcome to our Sunday practice. Welcome back to your mat. Welcome back to your spot. As promised, the good boy will start our practice with us. By Nina. See if we can settle in. See if you can find your place, your purpose, your spot. Really warm in my space today. I thought we would work on some opening of our hip flexors, our psoas, and our iliacus. So both a release of them as well as a stretch. And we'll delve into that a little deeper. Sit bones release down into the earth. Slightly tilted pelvic position forward. Rocking forward of those sit bones creates the arch in the low back. Starting to find the spinal curves, the alignment. Releasing the weight of your legs and the energies down towards the earth, that apanavayu, that grounding, that roots. And from the roots, we start to rise. Feeling somewhere, solar plexus area, the turnaround point of the grounding and the lifting. It's going to be different for everyone, what you sense, what you feel. Maybe close your eyes. If somebody was to ask you right now, what is it that you feel as you sit on the floor, there'd be 100 different answers. See what comes up for you. Bring some awareness to the bottom of the rib cage, bind in those low ribs. It's a mobile segment. We want to hold that stability. So when we bring our chest tall, what opens? Upper back. Perhaps you can feel how the shoulder blades just automatically start to slide down the back and the head comes back into place. Take your arms back behind you. Feel that big opening, right? The first awareness of the length to our arms. Turn the thumbs backwards, the palms will spin towards the sky. That's external rotation, the ball rolling back in the socket. Go for the internal rotation, just turn the hands the opposite way. Backs of the hands towards the floor, that's internal spiral. Roll them back again, find the external rotation component. Then let the elbows release towards the hips. Palms up or down, your choice. Another grounding through the tips of the elbows, lifting again through the crown of the head. Perhaps you can feel the green light coming out from the heart chakra. With our eyes closed, we take that little tour of our internal structures. All of those satellites, the sensory satellites feeding back, interoceptors, they're called, to our brains. Position sense, temperature, alignment, discomforts. See what you're feeling. Maybe correct what doesn't feel so good, and more just observational. Where are we starting? What's going on in your brain today? Maybe a little bit of peace and calm. Having had our Thanksgiving and new paradigm Thanksgiving. See if you can find your breath now, yogis. We know that our breath is one of the most important parts of the practice. We're not doing yoga unless we are attending to our breath. We breathe all day long. We don't think about that. That's just keeping us alive, just. And then we come to the yoga practice and we find this yogic breath, topping off the tank. So many different ways to think about it. Taking in greater volumes of air and blowing out greater volumes of air purifies our system. So without the conscious breath, you will stay alive, but it's not efficient. We're not perfusing that oxygen and prana life force throughout the entire body. With this conscious breath, it's like we spread that yumminess throughout the whole system. So begin the conscious breath awareness. Maybe inhale through the nose and exhale through the mouth, through the pursed lips. Inhaling through the nose again warms, hydrates, purifies the air, the oxygen, the life force as we invite it in. Bringing it in with sweetness, with awareness of calming and centering, cleansing. Breathing out through the pursed lips, hearing and feeling the breath as it leaves our system. In that breath, all the debris, the physiological and mental debris. So important to begin and end the practice with this breath awareness. It sets the stage for a deep practice. So begin your own rate, maybe trying to double the exhalations from the inhalations, finding what rhythm feels right for you. Reminding you to envision all of us practicing around the world in our virtual yoga room, practicing apart and practicing together. See if you can feel the energy from the community as we find our breath. Before you open your eyes, take your thumbs, cross them like bird wings. We place them on the heart center, lightly. It's a calming, soothing. Feel your heartbeat inside the chest. Feel the warmth on the outside. Maybe the green light emanating from that heart chakra trapped in your palms. Stop for a moment here and feel your humanness. At this point in time, everything is okay. Blink your eyes open, look at the front of your mat or your dog, and bring the gaze back up. Offer your hands up. Helium hands, they rise. We almost can't help it, the sense of this beautiful rise from the roots that we put down and feel the expansion. Feeling we are so much bigger than our physical bodies, connect into whatever feels right, up into the stratosphere with the energies. Bring the low ribs in. Look up at your hands. Take your thumbs back behind you. Open your upper back more than hyperextending through the shoulders. Beautiful. Bring your head back between the elbows. Touch your hands together. Change them to the steeple hands so it's a little more laser sharp now. Out of the index finger comes that energetic force lifting. And the more you lift, the more you ground. See if you can feel the waistline starting to open, maybe the rib cage, the intercostal muscles between the ribs starting to get nourished and hydrated and released. Press the palms together. Inhale, and on your exhale, lower down through main central, third eye. Tip of the nose. lips, throat, onto our big hearts. Thumbs to the heart will rise. Elbows release down, soften the shoulders. Feel the shoulder blades release down your back. Inhale. On the exhale, spin your hands to the earth, touch down. Fingertips, right hand hold, left ear will soften in towards the left shoulder. The grounding of the right side creates the stable platform so the muscle can stretch. Into the spine, feeling the bones start to side bend here. Connective tissues filled with fluids and softening. Inhale the head back to center, and on the exhale, left hand will hold the floor. The right ear will soften into the right shoulder. Maybe what does this side feel like compared to the other? Send your breath and your attention to the spot in your body that feels maybe a little more congested. And see if you can soften it. Beautiful. Inhale your head back up to center, and on the exhale, left hand turn with the chin, ride the wave. Carve out your path. See if you can come through some of the stagnation, some of the restrictions. Bring your chin to neutral now, and then look over the left shoulder. Inhale back through center, and on the exhale, ride the wave to the right. A little bit of nodding motion. Come to your natural barrier and range, and maybe take the chin around a little bit more. Inhale back through center, and on the exhale, left hand turn again. Ride it around. Take the left hand under your right ear. Give a little bit of encouragement. Left hand goes down again. Inhale. Exhale, reach out with the chin towards the left shoulder point, and maybe you can release it down to the acromial process. Let's add the right arm into it today. Turn the palm up on the right hand. Feel a little bit of the nerve flossing and untethering. Right hand will go back towards the ground. Inhale the chin back through center. Exhale around to the right. Find that clear path. Right hand, left ear, same thing, little bit of encouragement. Right hand goes down. Inhale, exhale, reach out with your chin and see if you can place it down towards that right shoulder tip acromial process. How about turning the left palm up now? Irrigating through some of the troughs. Beautiful. Inhale back through center. Exhale, release your chin to the jugular notch between the two collarbones. It's all in the neck. See if you can find that flexion in your neck. We'll add rotation now, tracing the chin on the collarbone. Inhale, and on the exhale, trace your chin along the line of your right collarbone. And find that point maybe where the chin starts to leave the collarbone. Stop there, otherwise trace it around. Inhale back through center, exhale around to the left, same thing. Nice little squeeze here of our thyroid and parathyroid glands in our throat. Inhale back through center. Exhale, press hands, sit bones to earth, pull the low ribs in, bring the heart nice and tall. Crown of the head reaches to the sky. Take another inhale. And on the exhale, that hand behind our heart, imaginary hand, push your chest forward. Feel this opening through the pectorals, right? And then slowly, really from the center behind the heart, let the head release back. So we don't just drop it back or fold it back, but find that long arcing movement. Maybe the stretch from your chin to your collarbones. No dizziness allowed, no pain in the spine allowed. Inhale your head back up. Neutral position. Beautiful. Let's take our legs out in front of us. Straighten out the legs. Let's do the rotations. A way to get our knees and ankles unfolded for a moment. Boy, Kamir's really on me today. Turn the toes out. Good. That's external rotation in our hips, right? Bring them back to center. Big toes should touch easily. And if they do, take the heels apart a little bit and do the same thing. Hands behind you, maybe keep the long spine. rolled up on the sit bones. Do that a few times, yogis. Take the feet out, externally rotate, and bring them back in. Too easy, take them apart a little bit, touch the big toes. Good, start to lubricate the hip sockets here. We're gonna wanna have nice, open, and lubricated hips as we get into our psoas work. Beautiful. Bring your legs back in now with the opposite leg on top if you were sitting in the half lotus. Take your arms up, cactus arms, widespread fingers, open and close those hands. Spread them wide. Take the thumbs back. We love these hitchhiker shoulders. Find that movement, external rotation in the shoulders. Try to make it just the ball in the socket and not letting anything else move or restricting the movement elsewhere, right? Bring them up, shine them, thumbs go back. Shine them forward and down. Bring them back up on the inhale and the exhale. You know where we're going, palms together. Turn them to face you. Inhale. On the exhale, press them up slowly. Keep the hands and elbows pressed together as best as you can. They start to come apart, pause. Otherwise, rise up. Feel those elbows come apart. And then slowly down through that thick fluid. So good. Realigning our whole system here. Up you go 3 times and around. Really good one to do sitting at a desk or a stoplight. Just reset the whole system. Nice, yogis. Elbows at the side. Turn to palms. Light bulbs. Queen wave. Hallelujah. Queen wave. Light bulbs. Shake them out. Good. L hands, take them onto the tops of your thighs. Push down onto the thighs. Feel this skeleton inside there. Thighs are down, roll your pelvis. So if we didn't hold our thighs down, they'd pop up as we came forward, and the pelvis would go right along with it. So keep the thighs down and roll the pelvis independently. There's your forward fold. Maybe use the thumbs to direct those thighs inward a bit. Anytime you forward bend, internal rotation. Lengthen out here, yogis. Feel the crown of your head to the top of your mat. Take your hands back behind you like you're flying. So fingers are reaching back, but crown of the head comes forward. There's a little ballast for you so you don't fall forward. Bring the elbows to your side, palms are up. Inhale. On your exhale, root those hands down out in front of you. Down dog hands. Index fingers forward, thumbs towards each other. Imaginary marble under your index. Roll the index finger towards the thumb. You'll feel a little more stability in that unstable side of the hand. Press the fingertips into the ground, pucker the palms a bit. Your wrist creases are pretty much parallel to the front of the mat. Just move the elbow creases to the sky. You'll feel shoulders externally rotate. Shoulder blades adhere onto the rib cage. Use a prop or allow those elbows to release to the ground. And when they do, push hands and elbows into the ground and pull the crown of the head towards the top of your mat for your Sphinx arms. Sit bones are off the ground at this point. Good. Let the crown of the head release towards the ground. Feel that weight of your head give a little traction on your spine. Inhale the head back up. And on the exhale, make a right hand turn with your arms. See if you can bring your arms around. Frame your knee with your elbows. If possible, release the elbows down to the ground or again onto a prop. You might notice here that your left side of your pelvis is skewed a bit now. See if you can push the left sit bone back towards the back of the mat. So remember, we're not putting the sit bone down, but we're directing it towards the back of the mat and feel the stretch. Left side. Crown of the head reaches out. Walk your hands back through center. See if you can bring them around to the left now. Frame the left knee with your elbows. Maybe the elbows are on the ground or some props. See if you can release the right side of the pelvis back towards the ground. And this side, push the hands and elbows into the earth and lengthen out the spine. Start to find some space in your hips and in your waistline. Wonderful, yogis. Walk it back forward again. And walk it back up nice and tall. Let's do our side bend. Some blocks to either side, you might need them. You can switch your legs back to the other way if you feel that's more comfy for you. Walk your right hand out. Release the elbow down at the same time, the same idea of what we were just talking about. See if you can keep the left side of the pelvis from rising up too much as the elbow goes down. So the thigh is staying as close to the earth as possible. With your hand on your thigh, look at that, lengthen your waistline. So the hold is on the thigh and the length through the waistline. Let's see if we can lengthen now rib cage up. So use the thumb and the armpit and lengthen the rib cage. Yeah. Roll the heart to the sky, look up. Inhale that left hand up, and on the exhale, take it across. Long side body. Keep the right side of the waistline also long, right? Don't cave in there, but try to lengthen out from right side as well. How about releasing the right ear towards the right shoulder and complete that side bend? Use your core as much as possible on the way up, as little of the left hand, and then switch over to the other side. Use your props as needed. Right hand's going to hold that thigh down. Remember, it's not the pelvis down, but more the thigh. Lengthen the waistline, feel that. Thumb to the armpit, lengthen the side body, feel that. Roll the heart to the sky, look up. Inhale the right hand up. Exhale, take it over. Reach out. Reach way out, feel the side body, often ignored. So important for our back health and our spine. Keep the side body nice and open. Let the left ear release to the left shoulder. Inhale yourself back up, tall sit position. Nice start, yogis. Let's move our blankets. Tend to our spines and start to unravel these hips. You guys know where your psoas is. A quick reminder, it starts here on T12L1, that kind of right underneath the rib cage there, all the way down through the pelvic bowl onto the top inside of the thigh. You've got one on each side. Take your heel, push it back while your toes are curled under. Open up the back of the leg. Inhale onto the top of the right foot. Flip over. Articulate through the toes, the ankle, the foot. You got it. Inhale, and on the exhale, curl back through. Try to find as much movement in those joints as possible. So mobilizing joints, stretching muscles, lubricating the tissues. Beautiful. Take the right knee forward, take the left foot back. It is not just about muscles and stretching. So much more to all of this. Also the whole nervous system, resetting our nervous system, feeling the calm start to come over, right? Inhale, come forward. Nothing else matters right now, just this beautiful practice onto the top of your foot. Inhale, and on the exhale, go ahead and push back, yogis. Feel that release. Yummy. Left knee comes forward, have the knees underneath the hips, the toes curled under. I recommend your hands a little forward of your shoulders. Let's start to open all the pieces. Inhale, and on the exhale, push back a little bit towards child's pose, deepening the hips and knee creases. Maybe letting the ears start to release towards the shoulders and elbows. Inhale, come forward, release the feet. Press the hands into the ground, feel the energy come out of the ground, and release the pelvis forward. So just through the front of the pelvis, the awakening of those hip flexors. We're going to go at them today. Yeah, let's go back again. Inhale. And on the exhale, curl the toes under and push back. Go back a bit farther this time. The ears will descend through, the heart will release. Feeling the movement through the spine and the shoulders. Inhale back up, release the feet on the exhale. Pelvis moves forward. See if you can move into your low back a little bit, find some arch, and maybe shine the heart forward. Head nice and neutral, not looking up, but a slight chin tuck. Remember, if your pinchy in your low back here, put a block underneath. All right, yogis, inhale back up. Exhale, push back, go through your down dog, arms, releasing your heart, finding all those articulations, and maybe let the elbows release to the ground, forehead onto the earth. Inhale back up, scared cat. Exhale, release the feet, unfurl the pelvis, low back, ribs, heart. Neck stays neutral. Don't load your low back. Inhale. On your exhale, slowly look over your right shoulder. See if you see your foot back behind you. Inhale back through center and exhale, look over your left shoulder. See your foot behind you. Inhale back through center and on the exhale, bend your elbows. Elbows go back towards the hips, right? And release our pelvis to the ground. Not your belly button. Pull the elbows back, feel the opening of that upper back. So beautiful. Inhale up through scared cat. On the exhale, the knees go wide, the big toes touch. And we slowly lower down through down dog, arms, and sphinx arms, and forehead to the earth. Pause here. If it's pinchy in your hips, you'll need to back off. Maybe put a blanket between your belly and the tops of your thighs. Otherwise, go ahead and slowly shift your pelvis to the right and then to the left. So a little bit of muscle stretching for sure, but really lubrication of our hip sockets. Back and forth a few times so the pelvis is just shifting side to side. Bring it back to neutral. We'll all join Ike and Hawaii now and do a little bit of Hula Dance. So take the pelvis around, rock it around clockwise. Scouring out those hips, right? Envision yourself in beautiful grass skirt, bring it around the other way. And lubricate those hips. Sweet. Beautiful. Bring it back to center. Inhale back up through scared cat. On the exhale, release it all down again. Maybe you can feel how things are warmed up now. Inhale, and on your exhale, look up. So complete that extension through the spine. Maybe feel the stretch all the way down to the pubic bone. All of that anterior tissue getting a release. Inhale the head to neutral. Exhale, bend your elbows. Put your pelvis down again. And let's slide our arms forward right into Sphinx pose. So in Sphinx, curl the toes under and pull the chest forward a bit. So very similar to what we just did, except our elbows are on the ground now. Inhale, and on your exhale, pull your heart through. See if you can feel that release through the upper back. Your neck's not really in it. A little bit more stretch of our abdominals and belly here. Beautiful. Release that. Curl the toes under and push all the way back. Child's pose. Elbows down, forehead down. Turn the palms up now for hopeful pose for just a moment. Hope for something spectacular to drop into your hands, into your lives, into our lives. Slide the hands back underneath the shoulders and press yourself up. Okay, let's introduce something new to you today. Some of you might have done this in the past. And in order not to create too much craziness, I have this Medi ball thing here. This is a heavy ball, right? It's dense. Many of you, most of you don't have it, so I'm not going to use this. If you do have one, you can certainly use this in place. We're going to use our blankets instead because I assume everybody's got a blanket. Take your blankets, yogis, that we were just sitting on, and instead of tri-folding it, roll it. So it's in a nice Tootsie Roll, right? So unfurl the blanket and just roll it up here. So you get a nice Tootsie Roll. Okay. This is the difference between release and stretch. We're going to release the psoas first, and that just means that we're going to provide the psoas with a whole bunch of tactile stimulation and try to encourage the movement of the fluids through the whole area. So find the bottom of the rib cage, right? And what we're going to do is we're going to lay over the blanket here so that it catches the bottom of the rib cage. Let's be careful getting into this. Go ahead, put your elbows down, and then put your rib cage down so the blanket is just below the rib cage, right where the diaphragm starts. So you can stay on your knees if that's more comfortable for you. If it feels like you can release it, go ahead and release the pelvis towards the earth. You got it. And then release the feet. Sometimes people say it feels a little nauseating. Well, it's pressing up into our diaphragm and it's stimulating all this flow through here. If this is really pinchy in your low back, you might want to take a block and slide the block underneath the pubic bone. So you won't have as much pressure down onto your psoas, but I certainly don't want you loading your back. Customize. All right, see if you can release down so you're on your elbows now, and just start to shift the body to the right. So most of the weight is on the right side now, and then over to the left. And see what that feels like. Does it feel different right and left? Does it feel okay on right and left? So see if you can surrender your belly into the roll of the blanket and just roll yourself side to side a few times. The psoas is getting the sense or the message here now. I can start to soften. If it feels all right for you, see if maybe you might be able to lie down on your pillow arms. So more of the blanket goes into the psoas now. And churn it a little bit. So use your arms here and just pull forward a little and then push back. Pull forward, push back. Maybe do your side to side again. See if you can find your entree point there into that psoas. And for a breath or two, wherever you're at, release into your depth. Maybe you'll put your side of your head down on the ground and completely surrender your belly into that blanket roll. If the blanket rolls too much, then lessen it. Don't have quite such a tootsie roll. You can feel your heartbeat. And you can feel the pulse through the vena cava, our big vein in our bellies. Beautiful. Okay, yogis, press up. So yummy. And you have a choice now of either just bumping your body forward. I like to come up and just slide the blanket down. It's right over your belly button now. Do the same thing. Start on the elbows, toes are up. See if you can release the belly button down into that roll. Yeah. Maybe get a little back snap or crack. Maybe release the feet. Little side to side motion, right? So across the belly, those two psoas muscles that are coming down from the top of that lumbar spine, getting a nice massage here and moving all the fluids through. Good. Bring it back to rest and maybe lower down. Maybe you can allow yourself to release down onto your pillow arms. Do a little bit of chugging now. You can turn the toes under if you'd like and just kind of back and forth. A little bit of movement here to allow that blanket roll to come through into the psoas through our big bellies and abdominal contents. Good. Release the feet again and maybe lay it down. Surrender in. Try not to put up any resistance to it. Maybe one more time, take it right and left. Good. Bring it to neutral. You have 2 more stops on the train here. Come back up onto your elbows and slide the blanket down, and it's going to be across your pubic bone. So it catches the psoas as it goes right through the front of the pelvis here. So right by the pubic bone, do the same thing, yogis, side to side, shifting hips. Good, bring it back to neutral, maybe lower down. Use your props accordingly. See if you can feel that
psoas muscle as it descends through the pelvic bowl to attach onto the top of the thigh. That's our last stop in a moment or two. Maybe do your chugging, curl your toes under, a little bit of rocking forward and backward, trying to find that spot that you need. Maybe do a little hula, maybe do a figure eight, what you have to do to find your spot. And then come to rest for a moment again. You're going to feel the difference by doing this first before we get into our deep stretching. Beautiful. I think we know what's next. Come up, slide the blanket down. Now it's going to be across the top of your thighs here. So it catches that psoas muscle on the top of the thigh. This feels really good. Okay, a little bit of difference on this one. Start on your elbows. Let's go ahead and bend the right knee. Can you feel that? Keep your thigh down. As you bend the knee, you get a beautiful psoas release at the bottom. Good. Down it goes and up. Do that a few times. So don't lift your leg. Keep the thigh down and bend the knee, and it will move into that psoas region. Go ahead and do the other side. Do the left. Knee stays down. Catching the top of the quad and the bottom of this psoas. Beautiful. Rock and roll it side to side. Maybe do your chugging up and down. And then come to rest for a moment on your pillow arms. See if you can really surrender your whole belly down towards the mat. Find your breath, 2 or 3 breaths, soften in. All right, let's go ahead and press up. You can move your blanket out of the way and come onto your back. Crazy legs. Knees together, feet apart. Arms out in the T. Just move the legs to begin with. Right knee will slide down the inside of the left shin. Back up on the inhale and on the exhale, opposite. Reminding you, if you keep your knee in contact with the shin and do it really slowly, you're going to strengthen your back muscles and keep your sacroiliac joints in a really nice alignment. Take your thumbs into your elbow creases and take your arms up over your head. So let those arms be as close to the ground as possible. Use a prop if need be. And let the legs move. So taking our arms up over our head is just changing the origin, insertion, and stretch of the lats and side body muscles. Keep the legs moving. Let's keep the arms back up over the head, but let them start to move side to side like a pendulum. So as the legs go to the right, let the elbows slide over the left. They frame your ears, right? Inhale back to center. And opposite, legs to the left, arms to the right. A few times like that, yogis. Inhaling to center and exhaling for the release. Side bending our thoracic spine as we're mobilizing the hips. Bring it all back to center. Take the arms up now. They're still thumbs and elbow creases. Forearms above the chin. Legs go one way, arms go the other way. So now we've added rotation of our thoracic spine rather than side bend. Remember, this is not really about getting our limbs to the ground, but the containment and the strengthening. Let those arms and legs move. Start to add the head to it now. Head follows the knees while the arms go in the opposite direction. Head and knees one way, arms opposite. Eyeballs follow elbows, head follows knees. Eyeballs, elbows, head, knees. And back to center. Beautiful. Take your hands below your kneecaps onto the patellar tendons and bring your thighs towards your chest. Roll your low back off the ground, provided it's not painful or don't have an active disc problem. Let's imprint the sacrum now. Most of you know what that means. Put your sacrum down. Feel the arch in the low back as the sacrum imprints. That will keep stability in our pelvis, and let's articulate the hips. So the idea here is you're not rolling everything around. Pelvis is stable, just the hips, the ball of the socket is moving. Do a few in one direction and a few in the other direction. All this beautiful energy through our hips, unsticking those stuck hips. Good. Bring your legs back to neutral. Keep the hands on the patellar tendons. Inhale. Exhale. Push the knees up into the hands. Pull the hands down into the knees. Feel the sacrum imprint into the ground. Low back releases off the ground, and we find a decompression. Release the push. Take a break for a moment. The back will flatten towards the ground. Inhale, and on the exhale, repeat. Notice as you push your knees into your hands and your hands into your knees. Sacrum imprints, we find a low back arch and a decompression. And go ahead and soften that. All right, let's move into our psoas block sequence. Our psoas have been enlivened already. See if you can feel a difference by doing that release stuff first before we do this. Okay, yogis. Inhale. On your exhale, press the feet down into the earth and lift up. Take your blocks. They go underneath the sacrum. Most of you very familiar with this. The sacrum, the triangle bone, imprinted onto that block. Surrender. Let that whole pelvis surrender. You can keep adjusting your block as necessary. Let's get into some of this release or some of this stretch. Straighten the right leg. Down the mat it goes. It's Tadasana leg. It's active. It's down the mat, really long. See if you can maybe feel the ball releasing down out of the socket a bit. Let that right leg release. It'll spin out to the right. Keep it there. Same thing, left leg. Slide it down. Make it active first. So really long, 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 long leg. And then let it roll to the side. If your back is uncomfortable, you need to readjust your block. If for some reason it just can't get comfy, put a blanket underneath or maybe nothing. So it should not be loaded in your low back. Take your arms up over your head, yogis. Straighten back up above your head. This is our huge circumference of our rib cage, really allowing the lungs to fill up. It's a passive back bend. It's away from all that forward folding. Enjoy this for a breath or two. Feeling this ease with which we can take our air in and out. Grab your right wrist with your left hand and lengthen out that right arm. Look what you can do. Look how long that arm can become, right? Do the same thing on the other side now. Right hand around left wrist and do the same thing. Pause for just a moment here with the arms above the head, maybe the back of one hand, and the palm of the other. Again, bring your arms back to your side, and then bend your knees. Readjust the block as necessary. Draw the right knee to the chest. Your hands are in front of the right knee. Draw it up to the chest. So really go for it. If you notice, you'll take your thigh up. Maybe some of you can touch the right thigh to the rib cage. But look what's happened to your low back. It started to round out. So instead of keeping the knee towards the chest, push the sacrum down into the block. Feel what that does. It strengthens your deep core. It keeps your low back in an arch, and your knee just comes a little bit farther away, or maybe a lot of it farther away from your rib cage. Circle your ankle clockwise and counterclockwise. Find some opening there. Bring the foot ankle to neutral and spread your toes. See if you can find some space between the toes. And release that. Switch your hands now to behind your knee and draw the knee up, but this time not so high that you round your back. Keep the sacrum imprinted. Beautiful. Let's open our hamstrings a little bit. Inhale. On your exhale, keep your hands where they are. Straighten out the right leg, and your hip will move closer towards the bottom of your mat to accommodate the straightening of your knee. Pull your toes to your face. Add that calf stretch in too. Good. Draw the knee back up on the inhale, just to the point where the low back doesn't round. And then exhale, straighten out the leg. Find the hamstring length, toes to face. One more time. Draw it in and let it out. Draw it back in, and this time glide that right leg over to the right side a little bit. So it's a lateral glide. You're moving your leg over so that your thigh is not going to touch the belly chest so easy. Good. Take the sole of your right foot and stand it on the sky now. All right, so you got about 90-degree bend in the knee. See if you can take your hand and grab the outside border of that right foot. Lots of people are not going to be able to do that, so you got lots of other choices. Hands can stay behind the thigh, or grab your strap and put the strap over the bottom of the foot. So if it's really degrading the pose to grab your foot, don't do that. See if you can hold that right leg in place, and here's the buildup. This is what we've been doing all this for. Straighten out your left leg now. Because your pelvis is up on this block, your hip can go into more extension right behind you, so your hip flexors get a stretch. Let's hang out here. Sole the right foot to the sky. Don't overdo it. So use your props, and you'll see you'll be able to hang out. Left foot, you can see my heel is on the ground. Don't let it hover. If it's up off the ground, slide a block underneath it, or just bend your knee a bit more. Take your left arm up over your head. Straighten it back behind you. Feel that long side body. This is a lunge movement too, isn't it? Yeah, we're going to be doing lunging in a few minutes. We're prepping for all that work. Beautiful, yogis. Take the left hand back. Slide the left foot back onto the floor. Release the right leg down. And let's do the same on the other side. Grab the left leg, patellar tendon right, bend the knee. First time, we roll the back into flexion as the knee comes towards the chest. Go ahead and imprint that sacrum again. Lose a little bit of the hip flexion and keep the beautiful space in your back. Circle your ankle, clockwise, counterclockwise. Bring the ankle to rest and spread the toes. And release the tension from the foot. Take the hand behind the knee and draw the knee to the chest. This time we know we don't come all the way up. We just keep the sacrum imprinted and find our barrier there. Hamstrings will open now. Inhale, and on the exhale, hands stay behind the knee, straighten out the leg, pull the toes to the face, shoulders are relaxed. Big ol' hamstring gastroc stretch. Draw it back in on the inhale, and straighten it out on the exhale. One more time, draw it in on the inhale, and straighten it out on the exhale. Draw it back in. Exhale, glide it to the left a bit so that the thigh is a little less compressed on the rib cage. Take the sole of the left foot, stand it up on the sky. If the foot looks like it's just way too far away, keep your hands behind your thigh or throw a strap over the bottom of the foot. Otherwise, grab onto that outside border of the foot, imprint the sacrum, and then straighten your right leg. So what's the right side feel like compared to the left? Maybe they're exactly the same, and maybe they are completely different. Hang out here, yogis. See if you can find that softening. Don't go so deep that you can't wait to get out of it. Maybe drape the right arm up over the head. Complete that stretch. Fingertips as high to the top of the mat, and sole of the foot as low to the bottom of the mat. Bring the right arm back. Put the right foot on the ground. Put the left foot on the ground. Let's get ready to strengthen our core and use our core to bring us up. So readjust the block. I suggest you take your hands, if you'd like to, and interlace the fingers underneath the bottom of the block. Bring your shoulder blades down onto the earth. We've got a bridged chest. Draw the knees up towards the chest. Roll the low back around it. And then notice as we push our sacrums down into the block, we lose some of the knees to chest, but we gained our candlestick legs. Take them up nice and tall. With that block underneath, we've given you inches to your hamstrings. Hopefully you can feel the press of the sacrum into the block. Keep the core stable and let those legs start to open up. Open up in a V. Maybe some cracked snaps and pops. Look up at the toes, right toes, turn them out. Do the same thing with the left, and then push your heels to the sky. Oh my goodness, so strong in our core, right? Draw the ankle bones back together on the inhale. And on the exhale, lower them out again. Inhale them back up. Last time, exhale them out. Inhale them back up. Exhale, soles of the feet together, drop them down towards the groin. Baddha Konasana legs. Press the soles of the feet together like the tree growing out of the forest. Turn the toes to face you, heels go out the roof. A few more times. Heels towards groin, knees open. Press soles of the feet together, rise up, pull toes to face. Last one, take them down, so strong, beautiful. Toes to face. Bend the right leg, bend the left leg. Press up. Slide the block out from underneath. Interlace your fingers. We've opened our hip flexors. Let's try a bridge. Shoulder blades come underneath. Feet press to the earth, but the toes don't grab. Keep the nice stability there. Open your big hearts. Remember, the rest of the bridge comes from rib cage up. Don't exaggerate the low back arch. So take the elbows to the side now. Squeeze the imaginary block between the hands. Push the elbows into the earth, and your heart will open. So the arc from behind the heart creates the bridge. Straighten out the arms if possible, pushing the shoulder blades into the earth, finding stability, and then taking your arms back, drape them back behind you, the long drawbridge. Move the knees towards the bottom of your mat. Find your breath. Feel the opening through the fronts of your hips, all that hip flexor work we've already done. Bring your hands back up, elbows down, arms down, and slowly lower down. When you get to the bottom of the rib cage, skip the low back, imprint the sacrum, yummy. Soles of the feet together. Baddha Konasana, turn the palms up and do a little pinwheel with the legs, side to side. Good, bring them back to neutral. Take your hands to the outsides of your legs and move them back together. Let's roll over onto our right side and come on to kneeling position. Okay, we've prepped this. Let's see if we can really love the opening to the fronts of our hips. Some strengthening now into it as well. Here comes Kamir for his downward dog appearance. All right, let's take our left foot forward onto the mat. The foot is going to be in front of the ankle. We know this. Right foot back. Press the top of the right foot into the earth. That's stability. And then glide the left knee forward from the opening of that hip flexor. So yogis, imagine if we hadn't done all that work and this was still so stiff and you tried to bring your knee forward, you wouldn't go anywhere. you'd probably take it in your low back. Instead, yeah, there you go, front of the right hip. Let's do our runner's arms. It's a way of bringing our core in. Take your arms up like this, elbows are at the side, and notice, inhale, on the exhale, it's really isometric, so we're not moving them so much, but punch forward with the right and pull back with the left. Can you feel how that screws in the whole core? Just to drive the point home, it unscrews by doing it the other way. If you push your left forward and pull your right back, you lose your stability. See if you can find this sense of the bandhas and all of the deep core holding us stable. You got it. Hands to the pelvis. We're open through the front of the hip. Take the arm up. It's the same thing we just did on our back. It's just we're kneeling now, requiring balance. Pull the low ribs in, look up maybe, and take your thumb back behind you. Bring the gaze back forward, put your hand on your pelvis, come onto the right knee, pull in the core, maybe use the sense of those runner's arms or pull in your egg up and switch your legs back to the opposite side. Or switch your legs to the opposite side. Right leg forward a little bit. Inhale. On your exhale, push the top of the left foot down into the earth, create the stability, and draw the right knee forward. Do your runner's arms again. The left is going to punch forward, right pulls back. We unscrew and do the opposite way, right forward, left back, and you can feel how the core, hopefully, pulls into place. Put your hands onto your pelvis, pull those low ribs in, bring your left arm up, and reach back. Come on back to neutral, put your hand on your pelvis, come onto the left knee, find your stability. We're going to do this many times, adding different pieces to it each time. Remember too, yogis, if this is too much on your knee, put a blanket underneath so that you have a little bit of padding. Right foot anchors, draw left knee forward, pull the belly in, open the heart, do your runner's arms, right forward, left back, screw in the core. Take the right arm up. Open from your upper back, take the thumb back behind you. Bring it back to neutral and then take the right hand to the left, open the right side. We've done renditions of this as well. Side body opening in a lunge position. Beautiful. Bring your hand back to neutral, come onto your knee. Keep the core active as you switch your legs, so as little wobbliness as possible. Left foot anchors, draw the right knee forward. Do your runner's arms, pull in the core. Take the left arm up and reach back. Look back, opening your upper back. Bring it to neutral. Left hand will go to the right, stretch our side body open. Bring it back to neutral, left hand on the hip, come onto your knee point, find your core, bring them legs back around again, lefty is forward this time. Right foot presses, draw that hip open. Take the arm up, and back. Come to neutral. Reach forward with the right hand and cut the hips back. So you're not rounding the spine. As the hand comes forward, the hips go back a bit, deeper hip crease. We lengthen out from our spine. Put your right hand down on the ground inside that left foot and see if you can press into the hand and open that left hand around to the left. Come on back through, put your left hand down and open out to the right. See if you can find that rotation. Back to center. Come on back up, reach out, elbow outside the knee, palms together, thumbs to the heart, archer's elbow, left elbow goes up. Spin it back through center. Come onto the right knee point. Find your stability. Switch your legs around. Opposite. Let's get back into it nice and safe. Inhale.
Exhale, left foot presses earth, right knee draws forward. We're starting to feel some huge openings here now. Inhale the left hand up and back. Exhale, come forward from the flexion in the hips and the reaching forward of the arms, starting to feel that opening. Inhale, put the left hand down inside of the right foot. Find your core stability before you start to open into your rotation. Right arm goes up. Make it graceful. Right hand goes back down inside the right foot. Turn from the rib cage. Find your stability with your core in the right hand and take the left hand up. Inhale back to center. Hand goes down. Come on back up. Reach forward with your left hand. Reach way out. Put the elbow outside the knee. Palms together. Thumbs to the heart. Right elbow up to the sky. Archer's elbow. Back through center. Onto the knee point. Switch the legs back. Lefty forward. Draw the body forward. We know what we're doing. Real stable here. We've done it one arm. Let's try two arms today. Find your core stability. Inhale both arms up. Keep the gaze forward. Drop into the front of that right hip a little bit more. Maybe you can turn the gaze towards the sky. Pull the low ribs in and back bend that upper back. Low lunge. Back to neutral gaze. Hands on the pelvis. Onto the right knee point. Switch the legs around. Draw yourself down slowly into it. Belly in. Take both arms up. Reach back. Find the stability through your core and that back leg, and you probably won't wobble. Good. Bring your hands back to your pelvis, onto the left knee. Switch the legs back. We're still at it. Draw it forward. Find the opening. Beautiful. See if you can curl your toes under on the right leg. This is not going to be for everybody. If you feel like you're already done, then stay right here. You can put your hands onto the top of your left thigh, or if you can find your core, pick that back leg up. Push it back. Maybe stay here. Maybe take your arms up. Beautiful. Hands back to the pelvis. Descend the knee. Come back onto the knee point. Switch your legs around almost the last time. Drop into the front of the leg. Feel the stretch and opening. Pull the belly in. Remember, you might already be done. If not, curl your toes under in the back. You can push off the thigh or find the lift through your core. Push the heel back, pull the belly in, and maybe add the arms to it as well. Maybe even look up. How fun. Hands back to the pelvis. Descend the knee. Release. Last time now, we'll switch the legs back for the deepest part of the stretch. Okay, yogis, here we go. Draw that right hip forward. We've been there a million times already. Left leg, march it out to the left. So you're going to externally rotate that left hip. The toes are out. Your knee stays over your second or third toe. Don't flex the spine. Bring it long, fingertips to the ground or onto some blocks. Let that left hip open and close now. So great, the lubrication through that hip. I wish we could all take a walk after this and notice the opening at the front of the hip just allows your gait to improve as far as not so many steps. Some of you will stay here. If possible, put your palms down. Press the top of that right foot into the ground and draw yourself forward. So the right butt cheek descends into the front of that right hip. Maybe you stay here. Possible, put your elbows down. Maybe you need a block underneath one of the elbows. Lengthen out here. We're not caving in. It's Sphinx arms to lengthen.
Do your hip articulation again on the left. So you're maybe onto the outside border of the left foot. Yeah. And then in, opening this whole hip complex. Pause here for a moment. See if you can really feel the opening of that right hip flexor. Beautiful. Climb back up again. Lean forward a little bit and bend the right leg. Reach around with the left hand onto your shin or your foot and see if you might be able to put your heel on your buttock and draw it forward. So even more of a stretch now that that knee is fully bent. Mercy. Come on back up. Man, that feels so good. Bring the leg back to neutral and switch your legs. Last time this side. Okay, yogis. Press the top of the foot into the ground. Draw forward. Feel the opening through that hip. Walk the toes of the right foot out now. The knee will go over the second or third toe, so don't let the knee be in or out too far. Keep it over. And see if you can come forward from the length of your spines. Put your fingertips down, maybe onto some blocks. Articulate the right hip. Yeah, in and out. Bring it to neutral. Descend down onto your palms. Keep the length to the spine. Feel the left butt cheek moving towards the front of that left hip as that hip flexor, psoas and iliacus start to open. Can you soften your elbows down onto the ground or onto some props, still keeping the length to the whole spine? And then opening and closing the right hip. Oh yeah, feeling that deep washing out of all the junk that's been stuck in our hips. Good. One more moment here, pressing elbows into the ground and lengthening. Climb back up. Lean forward, bend the left knee. Reach back with the right hand onto your shin or your foot or your toes. Come off the kneecap, be on the top of that left thigh, the bottom of your femur, you got it. And feel that amazing stretch through your hips. Beautiful. Release. Camel seems like the most natural next thing. We're so prepped now. Have your toes curled under, maybe have some blocks back there. If you do this a lot, maybe you have your feet down. I suggest everybody start with your toes curled under. Put your hands on your pelvis and push your pelvis forward. As we push the pelvis forward, what's opening? Our hip flexors, yeah. So opening here rather than too much in the low back. Don't do that. Press your hips forward, yep. Hands, the palms will cup the top of your buttocks, your fingertips down, the butt cheeks, draw the elbows in. Push your pelvis forward, yogis, as if your pelvis is up against a wall, or maybe go up against a wall. Grow out of this. So lengthen your spines. Open your heart to the sky. We started the whole practice with this heart opening. It's not your head back. Your chin still stays tucked to start, and start to lean back from the opening of those hip flexors. Yes. Maybe you can grab your heels. Keep the elbows spun towards each other, heart wide open, ribs in. And go ahead and complete it now by letting the head release back for your camel impression. Come on back up. If that felt like it was already enough, repeat. If you feel like you got a little bit more after all that opening, maybe let your feet down. Do the same thing again. Push the hips forward, open up, grow out of the spine nice and long. Reach back, and if it feels like there's no way I can't, then curl your toes back under. Open your big heart and let your head back. Inhale back, up, exhale, sit back. Take your hands back behind you, bend your elbows, roll and look over your right shoulder, release the back after all that.
Inhale back through center and exhale left. Inhale back to center, lean back onto the tops of your feet. Take your shins off the ground, perhaps. Put your shins back down, tall sit. Let's move right into a twist. You might need your blanket. If you feel like your pelvis is rounding forward, sit on the edge of your blanket. If not, just sit on the ground. If this is too much for you, you can also straighten out your underneath leg and just be in this position, or have your foot inside like this. So figure out what's best for you. Let's twist open. Arms come up. Inhale. Exhale, keep your gaze forward and just twist the rib cage to the left. So the gaze will stay forward for the whole time that the bottom of the rib cage is moving. Then let the head slowly start to turn, look over, little finger, left hand. Inhale back to center, and exhale opposite. Twist the rib cage. And let the head turn, look over, little finger, right hand. Inhale back to center. Exhale, same thing. And then release your arms, no force, but encouragement with those arms to help to take us into a little bit more of a spin. Inhale back through center. Exhale around to the right. Same, release, and push. Inhale back to center, lean back. See if you can do this without your arms. If you need your arms, by all means do it. Switch your legs around gracefully. Other side. Big toe knuckle, left foot on the ground. Maybe use your fist, lift and shake it out. Hands on the knee, big open heart. Arms up, inhale. Exhale, open, twist right. Inhale back to center. Exhale, twist left. Inhale back to center, twist right. Release the arms. Elegantly, we find a deeper twist. Inhale back to center, exhale left. Release the arms and find your twist. And back to center. Onto the right side, yogis. Playboy pose. Hand goes underneath your head for support. Bring the knees forward. Hips, knees, and ankles 90 degrees are on the right side. The left hand goes on the top of the left leg. Grab the arch of your foot and then bring your left leg back behind you. Oh my goodness, our hip flexors are so wide open now. I hope you can feel the same thing I do. There's no resistance here now. I can pull my leg back, not from back arch, but from the opening of these hip flexor muscles. Delicious. Let's get at our hamstring now. So keep that leg hovering on the ground, bring it around to the front. The left knee will go towards the left armpit. Your hand stays right on the medial arch of the foot. Find your core and see if you can straighten out the leg. Maybe you're going to stay here if your hamstrings are tight, and maybe you'll be able to find that hamstring length because we're not in a forward fold. We can find some beautiful unbridling of that hamstring. See if you can get the sole of your foot towards the sky if you're open. Draw the knee back into the armpit, circle it around, take it back, big open hip flexors. See if you can keep that leg parallel to the floor rather than up towards the sky. Let's circle back through this a few times, yogis. Knees towards the armpit. Open up. We're on our right hip point. Oh my goodness, open that hamstring. Again, we're not in a forward bend, so maybe easier to find the hamstring length. Draw the knee back in, circle it around. We'll do one more on this side. Forward you go. Up and around and open. And circle her back around. Let's move right into open book on the right side. Palms together, head on the ground or on a cross.
Inhale. Exhale, draw the left hand up your forearm over your bicep, and have it come to rest on your chest. The left elbow is up to the sky. Inhale. On the exhale, initiate from the bottom of the rib cage. That's why we just did the twist. See if you can find the opening through the ribs rather than dropping the shoulder to the ground. The ribs will open and then the shoulder will release towards the earth. Remember, we can get more range of motion by bending the right elbow, pushing the right elbow into the ground, lifting your heart, and then finding that space in rotation. Maybe unfurl both arms, gaze over at that left hand. Inhale the left hand back up, grab the cloud off the sky, imprint it onto right palm and then slide it forward. Protract the shoulder blade as the heart goes to the ground. One big movement now. Big inhale. And on the exhale, just trace right through it. Inhale, lefty back up. Back down on the exhale. Let's go right into chalk trace. Palm to palm, thumb and index grabs an imaginary piece of chalk, left hand. Trace it up over your head on the exhale. And if you can, continue that full revolution all the way around. We roll around on the crown of the head and we're back in that same open book position you were just in. Inhale. On the exhale, trace it back through, way up and over, or wherever your boundary is. One more big inhale. Exhale, make the breath last all the way around, up and over the head. And back around you go. That's the right side. You can just roll over onto your left or switch if you want to continue looking at the screen. Switch over to the other side. Playboy, playgirl position. Hand supports the head. Hips, knees, and ankles bent to 90 degrees. It's just like our open book start. Take the right arm on top of the right leg. Grab the medial arch of your foot and pull that leg back. Your thigh will stay parallel to the earth if possible. And open up through your hip flexors and your quads. Not nearly as much of a stretch as I normally get because I'm already so open. Nice. Inhale it forward so that right knee goes towards the armpits, circle around. We've opened our hips. Maybe you'll stay here if you've got the hamstring length because we're not in that forward bend. Straighten out the leg, find the hamstring. People have asked me, why can't I stretch my hamstring on my side like this? It's because you're not in forward bend. It's a wonderful way to get your strings. Okay, yogis, try a few of those. Pull it back again, opening your quad and your hip flexor. Back around and open. And last time, quad, psoas stretch. And into our hamstring stretch. Let's hold this for a breath or two. Really enjoy that opening and freedom. Circle it around. Legs will come back 90, 90, 90. Hip, knees, and ankles into open book. We go palm to palm. Head on the ground or prop. Inhale. Exhale, trace the right hand up your palm. Forearm, bicep, chest, elbow to the sky. Pause there. Continue the rotation, not leading with your elbow, but the bottom of the rib cage. And if you lead with the bottom of the rib cage, the elbow will just follow suit. Beautiful. Get a little more range in your rotation by bending the left elbow, pushing it into the earth, lifting your heart, and rotating. Maybe 2 times, lift, rotate. Open your wings. Inhale. On the exhale, come through it. Big inhale. Exhale, last the whole way through. Open your book. So elegant and free. All of our pieces lubricated and Our tide shifted. Inhale it back up. Exhale together. Right into chalk trace, palm to palm. Measuring chalk, thumb and index, right hand. Inhale. Exhale, take it up over your head. Trace that big semicircle. Maybe if your fingers leave the ground, you'll stop. Otherwise, trace it around over the crown of the head. Come to your open position. Trace it back around, yogis. And last one, inhale. On your exhale, trace it up over your head. Find that big opening. And back around we go. Beauteous. Onto your back, please. Stretch yourself out. Legs really long down the mat and arms elegantly drape up over the top. Reaching back, supporting your arms if you need with a prop. Otherwise, enjoying this tremendous rib cage expansion here. We can really inflate our lungs and purify our system and blow out all the junk. Bring your arms back to your sides. Grab your mat with your fists. Inhale. On the exhale, push your hands towards your feet. Your body will slink up the mat an inch or so right into Shavasana. Shoulder blades maybe mechanically under your back. Turn your palms up. Cover yourself as if you're feeling a little chilly. Close your eyes or cover the eyes. It's our ticket into Shavasana, being warm and blanketed and comfortable. It's the ticket in. Shavasana is our productive rest. It's our lucid sleep. It's our reboot. Touch the tip of your tongue to the roof of your mouth behind your teeth. It's a still place, calming. Maybe trace the tip of your tongue on the roof of your mouth. Stimulate all the points that allow us to descend deeper into our relaxation. And then let your tongue to release to the bottom of your mouth. The lips will part slightly. It's a soft mouth. No tongue and no teeth, no gripping, no grinding. The soft highway. Allow yourselves to slowly start to venture out. Think of your mats maybe as the magic carpet ride or whatever soothing thing comes to you, maybe a flotation device on the lake, maybe just buried comfortably in the sand. Allow yourselves this moment or two of nothingness. Look where we have gone with our practice, yogis.
so far beyond just our physical bodies and flexibility. We've infiltrated our breath, our energetics, maybe even a spirituality component. Our practice is so multifaceted, different every single day. The magic of this community and ancient practice. Find the marble on the back of your skull and let your head rock slowly side to side. Coming out of our lucid sleep. Begin to wiggle the fingers and the toes. When you're ready, bend your knees. Slide the heels towards the buttocks. Glue the knees and ankles together and roll over onto your right side away from your heart. We move into transition position. Often as we roll to our side, beautiful thoughts rush through our head, thoughts of gratitude, kindness, of altruism, and seva, our selfless service. Thoughts of this virtual community, of holding on until we're back to a new normal, keeping connected and supported. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. May all beings everywhere be happy and free. May the thoughts, words, and actions of my own life contribute in some way to that happiness and to that freedom for all. How glorious. When you're ready, take a nice big old inhale. And on your exhale, float yourself back up to a tall sit position. My buddy Kamir's joined me again. He's like a glue factory here today. Find yourself grounded to the earth, fingertips down. We grow so long and tall. Feel yourself energetically connected. We envision ourselves these tiny grains of sand sitting on our blue-green planet, the smallest microscopic speck, and yet still so important to the whole. Draw the energy up to the earth, to the heart center, thumbs to the heart will rise. We pause here, reminding ourselves to be so grateful for all we have. Inhale. On your exhale, let your hands float forward, fingertips, fingernails. Hands will spin open like a lotus. Draw the energies, the sweetness from all of us practicing into your hearts. Backs of the hands roll, thumbs to heart. Take your thumbs up to your third eye. Still contemplation, point all-seeing eye. It's a clarity spot. Let's bow to the magnificence of our practice. Namaste. Thank you, yogis. Oh my goodness, I look forward to Sundays so much. So we got one more Sunday on this platform and then everything gets switched over. I think all of you have gotten our emails. If some of you are lost, all you need to do is go to redhawkpt.com. It's all on our homepage. Vivaya, V-I-V-A-Y-A is the name of the new platform. It's all going to be streamlined. I know we will continue this, just a little bit of rocky road getting there. One more Sunday on this platform, and then we'll start in on Tuesday, December 8th is my first day teaching on Vivaya. Thanks so much for your support for all these months and years for some of you. Onward ho. Okay, I'm going to hang out.